Well, it seems that Daniel Vogelbach can get a break. He's gotten stressed at work. He can't handle things. So the Mets have given him some time off. I wish I could get time off when I'm not doing well at my job. That's for sure. So the Mets won tonight. They beat the Yankees 4-3 in 10 innings. It's interesting about this game. Now, before we get into this game, you want to need to keep an eye on the back of this video because I have a whole thing on Daniel Vogelbach. I hope his break is going well. This was a pretty sloppy game by the Mets. And poorly managed, poorly coached, and poorly played. They didn't look good tonight. And they won the game. I will say this, that Justin Verlander pitched really well tonight. He looks pretty good. And Jared Cole, he's a beast. He kind of ran out of gas a little bit in the sixth inning, I guess. But this Mets team is very concerning. Even with this win, if they'd lost this game, this would have been a very difficult pill to swallow. We had that base running gaff by Brandon Nimmo in the middle innings. Brandon, you got to run with your head up. You got to pay attention to your third base coach. And the third base coach can't be putting on the brakes at the last minute with Vientos. Vientos cannot run. So why are you even bothering to kind of send him and then put the brakes on him? I would mention about Vientos, he had the hardest hit ball in this game. I think they said he has the hardest hit ball of any player this year. So again, he has to play. Okay? From what I have seen, I think he can hit. Is he going to be a 300 hitter? It doesn't look like it. He looks like the guy is going to hit 250, hit for power, and a guy is going to hit in the middle of the order. I don't see anything that's any different than his scouting reports that I've read over the years. He's a major league player. Is he an everyday player? Well, we have to find out. He has to play. And, it's just... I don't understand why he hasn't played more. He should be playing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that's it. Play DH, play first, play a little bit of third, and that's that. Simple. The bullpen was okay tonight. The Mets just didn't, I would mention the steal of home by IKF on Rayleigh. Somebody on the field has to scream out that he's going. All Rayleigh had to do was step off, and they would have gotten him. That's all he would have had to do. Because obviously he only threw to a base 2 times and then at bat with the runner on a base. That's all he would have had to do is just step off. And he would have gotten him. And there was nobody that screamed on the field that he was going. If you're a Met fan old enough, you know Keith Hernandez was the guy that was always screaming that he's going, which meant that the base runner was stealing base. Nobody on the field did that. There seemed to be no the manager didn't seem to be involved in that. They even mentioned it during the game. No coach screamed out that he was going. The whole ballpark knew he was going. So the managing was bad in this game. The coaching was bad in this game. There was a mistake that Jeff McNeil made. That's a small thing. It didn't cost him anything. You got to be more aware of where you are on the field. Again, it wasn't great. This wasn't a well-played game by the Mets. This is a team that played so well last year and was so involved with all the little details. And now that seems to be out the window. What is going on that this team can't do that anymore? Why aren't they able to do that at this rate? I just don't understand what's going on there in between the ears of this ball club. And it makes me wonder what's going on with the manager, that he seems to be a little bit... I hadn't noticed it until the last couple of weeks. He's gotten to be a little bit disengaged. I don't know what the deal is. And, of course, Daniel Vogelbach is not playing. He's not playing because he's hurt. He's getting a break. Just think about that for a second. He has not played in almost a week because the Mets have decided to give him a break. From what? He doesn't play in the field. He's not a star player by any means. He's not even an everyday player. He is a role player. He has a role to hit right-handed pitching, which he is not doing. In his last 33 at-bats, he has 3 hits. His slugging percentage is .121. Think about that for a second. Prior to him taking a rest, taking a break. And then I saw him saying that, well, he's trying to get a swing down. Hey, asshole, you have to swing the bat to have a chance to hit. It's a very simple thing. You take the bat, you swing the bat, and you hit the ball. Or you don't hit the ball. If you're standing up there at the plate like this, and you're just taking pitches, you're not going to get a hit. Simple thing. And it's so simple that players, former players who don't speak up much about current players, have spoken up. Mets former star, Jose Reyes said a couple weeks ago that the most important thing that he has to swing the bat. He's not swinging the bat. He's taking pitches down the middle of the plate. Now Vogelbach has been talking. He talked about this whole it was nonsense, complete total gibberish. The Mets have to release him. Enough of this. So get this: they're not using Vogelbach. They're not using Vientos when Vientos should have been used. He was pinch hit for the other day on Sunday. Instead, Buck used Guillorme. On Tuesday night, he didn't pinch hit Guillorme, and Guillorme ended the game against the Yankees. He didn't use Vogelbach, he didn't use Vientos. Why is Vientos on this team? If you're not, get this, folks. So for 10 days now, over the next 10 days, next 10 games, they're not going to be able to use Drew Smith. They're going to go with 25 players on the roster. 25 players. Think about that. 25 players on this roster. They're not using Vogelbach. Down to 24 players. They haven't really been using Vientos. That's 23 players. So you have a 23-man roster. And 2 of those players are position players. What the hell is going on this team? What is going on with this front office? You know. And meanwhile, first of all, it came out that he needed a break. Then it said, well, he needed a mental health break. Then they're like, no, he needs a break. He needs a mental break with his swing. Bullshit. You can't deal with the pressure. Again, I'm going to say this again, and I think we kind of realize this about this team now, is they are really soft. This is a very, very thin-skinned team. They take a punch, they fall down. You know, they can't take a punch. We've seen that since last year. The Braves hit them hard, and they've not been able to get back up off the canvas. The proof is in the pudding. We've seen the results. We've seen what's going on with this team. Vogelbach is a symptom of the bigger problem. Okay, they have to find players that are much tougher than this. It is not easy being a New York Met. It is much harder to be a New York Met than is a New York Yankee. Based on the press. The press are always hands off when it comes to the Yankees. But with the Mets, if you sneeze wrong, they want to write stories up saying that you're a terrible person, you're a terrible player, you should get out of baseball. And that's not an exaggeration. They've been saying it all week. They've been saying it all the last 2 days. And they give the Yankees excuses all the time. So it is 10 times harder to be a Met. Not from fans like myself. I've been very quiet for the last 2 seasons prior to this one, demanding greatness from this team. But we're seeing the softness of this team. This team is just not tough enough. They have talent, but the talent needs to be toughened up. I would mention this about Francisco Lindor. Francisco has been taking the hits. He stands at his locker at every game. He answers all the questions. But he is soft. We've seen it. And his offensive ability has taken a step back probably since his Cleveland days. The numbers prove that out. It's not from anything I've observed. I didn't see much of him at all in Cleveland, but his numbers tell the story. His numbers are in decline. His defense, he's great defensively. He's probably the best defensive shortstop in the National League. He's that good. but his offense is on decline. And they got 9. How many more years they got of him? 9 more years, including this one. So it's 8 more years after this. It's tough. How's he going to make it here? But Vogelbach has to go. I mean, that until they get rid of him, they're not going to be able to move on from this situation. Now he's a roster spot that's not being used. And I'll mention again, if Luke Voigt is here and Vientos is not, I'm going to really rip into the general manager. I ripped into him, but this can't continue. It's simple as that. So you let me know what you think about this video. We'll talk more about this over the next coming days. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.